Well, hello and welcome to Unstuck with Charlie. My name is Charlie Arms. Today we're going to discuss how to effectively confront someone. No, it's not wrong to confront someone who's treating you poorly. In fact, the Bible encourages us to do this. Jesus himself gave solid advice on how to do this properly. There is a method and a manner I want to share with you today. Before we dive into this topic, would you take a minute and smash that thumbs up button below? Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. You'll be notified when new content is uploaded. I really appreciate it. Now, let's talk about this sensitive subject, how to confront someone. This is a tricky subject. We've been conditioned to think confrontation and conflict are bad things, but they're not. Sometimes it's precisely what we need in a given situation. Sometimes it's necessary to move forward positively and purposely. Not all confrontation is wrong. I want to walk you through some examples in the Bible that teach us this very principle. Jesus himself confronted Jewish leaders about their hypocrisy and false religious zeal. Twice he drove thieves and charlatans from the temple in an act of righteous confrontation. The Apostle Paul confronted the Apostle Peter when he learned that Peter was behaving hypocritically toward Gentile believers. You see, this was helpful confrontation because it was motivated by love. It was motivated by a passion for the health of the church. In the Old Testament, God sent the prophet Nathan to confront King David about his sin with Bathsheba, another person's wife. This confrontation resulted in David's repentance and restoration. Nathan's confrontation was not selfish because it was motivated by the best interest of another. Confrontation is an inevitable part of life. Others will confront us when we've wronged them or they believe us to be in error. We will confront other people when they offend or hurt us. You see, this is healthy as long as our motivations are right. When confrontation is used as a way to belittle, condemn, or take revenge on another, that's when it's wrong. In the book of Hebrews, we learn that God says he is the avenger. He reserves the right to deal with offenders appropriately. So I think we can see that confrontation can be a very good thing when done properly and with the right motive. So it can be a good thing to confront. Well, the next big question is, well, how do I do it? Well, the Bible actually contains some of the best advice on the planet about conflict and confrontation. There are two things that I want to teach you today from the Bible that will help you with situations of confrontation and conflict. One, the manner of confrontation is very important. In 2 Timothy chapter 2, we read these words, opponents must be gently instructed in the hope that God will grant them repentance, leading them to the knowledge of truth. Now note, the manner is specified with gentleness, as well as the motivation that God would grant repentance. You see, avoiding confrontation may seem like a good thing, but there are times when it is necessary, and dodging it is wrong. If Jesus had refused to publicly confront the Jewish leaders, they would have continued their deception and burdensome practices. If Paul had not confronted Peter, Christianity may have veered off course in the first century and dissolved into legalism or just another Jewish sect. If it's done right, confrontation can lead to good things, good outcomes. When you confront with gentleness and with a motive for repentance and restoration, good things can happen. Not always, it's not going to be perfect, but you'll increase your effectiveness exponentially. First, the manner. Secondly, the method of confrontation is also important. Jesus counseled people in the church with a method for handling conflict and confrontation. I want to dive right into it. In Matthew 18, we find these words. If your brother or sister sins, go and point out their fault just between the two of you. If they listen, you have won them over. So don't gossip. Don't go post on social media. Don't triangulate other people into the conflict in an attempt to bolster your position. Don't be passive aggressive and hold secret grudges. Go directly to the person and tell them how they hurt or offended you. This is the first step, and it's crucial. It demonstrates you have respect for the other person. Any other approaches that I just mentioned, that I just warned you not to do, will make resolving issues just that much harder. Now it goes on here, but if they will not listen, take one or two others along so that every matter may be established by the testimony of two or three witnesses. So step one, go directly to them. What happens when that doesn't work? Well, you have step two. Only when going directly to them doesn't work do you move to step two. That's key. And this step is to involve someone. In a marriage, it might be a counselor. In the church, it might be a pastor in your family. It might be a parent or a sibling, an aunt and uncle that you trust. The step still doesn't involve passive aggressive behavior, grudges, gossip, or posting on social media. It's still going directly to the person, just with one or two people who can help. Now, this probably should be someone that the other person trusts and respects as well. That would probably help. The method is, step one, go directly to them, share your concern, hurt, your offense. Step two, go directly to them with a witness. Step three, and this is only after you exhausted the first two steps. Let's read what Jesus said. If they still refuse to listen, tell it to the church. And if they refuse to listen to the church, treat them as a pagan or tax collector. Now, the context for this teaching is within the Christian community, aka the church, but it has application outside the church as well. What this verse is saying is that after you've tried everything and there's no repentance, no listening, no acknowledgement of the wrong, no willingness to change, then you wash your hands of the person. You've done everything you can do. Well, but I thought Christians were just never supposed to give up on anyone. Well, that's not what the Bible teaches. In fact, Jesus teaches here to move on. The person is not part of your fellowship anymore. If they're going to treat you like that, they're not going to repent. Distance yourself. Protect yourself. Jesus taught his disciples when they were going out to share the gospel. If they were received in a town, stay there as long as you can. But if they're rude, if they won't receive you, he said to the disciples, shake off the dust from your feet. In other words, move on. Sometimes we stay way too long in a relationship that is toxic and hurtful, is causing us pain. I'm not saying immediately give up on your marriage or your friendships, but if we follow this advice, we'll have a manner and a method for improving the relationship. Most people don't utilize these two keys for effective confrontation or conflict. Most people just pout, sulk, become passive aggressive, vengeful. Let's reset. Let's check our spirit and examine whether our approach has been bad. I'm going to ask you to take a different approach. Learn from this biblical wisdom, and let's use a manner and method in times when conflict is inevitable and it's necessary. So to review, the manner is gentleness with a goal of repentance and restoration. The method, go directly to them. When that doesn't work, involve someone, right? And if that doesn't work, it might be time to move on. Well, today, if this has been helpful to you, I want to encourage you to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, give me some comments, tell me what you think. I'd really appreciate that. And I want to say God bless, and let's move forward.